And the latest law and order announcement, and we're getting a few of them from the government this week, a new offence category has been introduced for a cow's punch. This means longer sentences if you are convicted under these rules. Earlier on News Talk ZB, I spoke with Julianne Kincaid KC, Vice President of the Law Association, asked if these new offences will make a difference.
What these changes will do is add 1 year to the maximum penalty of offences which already exist. So I don't think that in reality they will have a huge impact on any particular case.
There you go. So rather than getting a 3-year sentence, you get a 4-year. And if they're not stopping and going 3 years and they go, oh, hang on, I can do 3 years in jail, but I can't do 3 years and 6 months, so I no longer will commit this offence. It's nonsense. It's ludicrous. And as we talked about last night, if the death penalty is not seen as a way to stop murders in various states of America, then a longer sentence is not going to be taken into account as a way to stop any kind of crime.
Paul Goldsmith is Justice Minister, introducing this with us this morning. Minister, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Now, you just heard Julianne Kincaid there say actually it's not going to make much difference. Do you concede that?
No.
Sorry, was that me, or was that stick man with a wig on in the background? Is he up there between the two screens?
Yeah, I clocked that as well.
Stick man's in the background.
He's watching to make sure that they stay on message.
But I'm enjoying the wig that stick man's got on.
It's foodstuffs, just keeping an eye.
Oh, just checking out. Just noticed it. Wondered. Yeah, look, see, everyone's being watched at all time.
Kincaid there say actually it's not going to make much difference. Do you concede that?
No, I respectfully disagree. Look, it's about sending a broader signal. The broader signal is that there are going to be real consequences for crime. The government's goal is to reduce the number of victims of crime.
There's going to be consequences for crime. How is this changing? All the experts telling you it's not going to make a change, and you guys are still saying it's going to make a change. Like Luxon said yesterday, I don't care. Is it going to work? I don't care. He says, I don't care if it's going to work or not. I'm just going to do it. If you don't care if it's not going to work or not, that means technically it could make it worse. I don't care. Going to do it anyway.
And one way of doing that is being clear about consequences and sending consistent messages. And so tougher sentencing, less flexibility for judges to massively reduce sentences, dealing with the first responders, now the coward's punch, all sending that broad message that we're not going to tolerate aggressive, violent behaviour in its different means.
Does the message get through to the actual criminal who's about to throw a cow's punch on a Saturday night outside a nightclub? No. Are they thinking, oh, I must remember Paul Goldsmith?
Good question, Ryan.
Yeah, good one,
Ryan. Good question.
Well done, Ryan. Journalism 101.
Must have been watching the show last night.
The only question that you needed to ask in any of this. Good question. Even Goldsmith's going, oh, you're not supposed to ask me that question.
Increase the sentences.
No, in the split second, people aren't thinking about these things.
No, he just said no. He just confirmed it's not going to make a difference. Yet you're saying that these longer sentences are going to stop this sort of thing happen, and now you're saying no, it's not going to make a difference. So again, which is it?
Smith increase the sentences.
No, in the split second, people aren't thinking about these things. But obviously, it's the broader message. And the broader message that we had under the previous government was, oh, don't worry, it's somebody else's fault that you do these things. So and we're shifting that message to accountability.
This message then is not necessarily for the criminal, it's for the community.
Correct. Well done, Mr. Bridges. And specifically, it's for the community that they need to re-elect them next time. That's who it's for. You know, when it's like if there's an elephant in the room that you haven't seen and then you turn around and you smack straight into it, you didn't know you were going to hit it. Mr. Bridge, you just did it. You just tripped over that one perfectly. Well done, sir.
Both. It's definitely for the criminal, yes.
But it won't change a criminal's behaviour.
Correct.
Well, that broader message does filter through. And
I think he thought he was a Jedi there for a second. And I think what he was trying to do with his hand going, these are not the questions you're supposed to be asking me, Mr. Bridges. You watch. Here comes the Jedi. Ready?
Behaviour.
Well, that broader message does filter through.
And it's pretty good.
If people are operating in a world where there are no consequences or it's somebody else's fault that you managed to smash somebody in the face, it's because of something that happened 100 years ago, or it's because of your upbringing or something like that, or it's somebody else's fault, then that...
Do you know why he sounds so terrible when he's doing that stand-up? Because he's really bad at this. Like, he's not even hitting that blimmin' racist tone well. Like, he's not hitting that race baiting. He's doing it nothing. He's swinging and missing at everything. Not the talking points, not the angle of let's blame Maori, not bad Labour. Hasn't done that very well. He's doing it all badly.
Message seeps through.
Yeah.
We're sending a different
But
message.
they can still
which is
have-
you are responsible for your actions.
But they can still have discounts for all of those things that you've mentioned.
Yep.
I know you're limiting the maximum,
Yeah.
but they can still have discounts for those things.
Brian.
Why not make this, and this is a number of people texted in this morning, why not make this rather than trying to go after the maximums, about a minimum?
Well, look, I mean, that's an option down the line. Ultimately, the way that New Zealand has traditionally operated is we set a maximum sentence, there's flexibility.
And then the judges discount the hell out of it until it's a Briscoe sale, and they end up walking.
Because that's the
You've
judges.
lost me.
That's the judge's job, Ryan. The
You're doing
judges
so
decide.
well, Ryan.
You're doing so well. The judge's job is to figure out what would be an appropriate sentence between the minimum and the maximum. That's their job. The government's job is to set legislation. The judicial's job is to decide what within that legislation and the sentencing guidelines it's appropriate for. That's unless what you're saying, Ryan, and maybe I think it is that all the judges are woke soy boys who are just going to make this as small a penalty as possible. Unless that's what you're saying. If that's what you're saying as well, Ryan, you probably should just get out and say it. Get out and say it in front of everybody rather than sort of hinting around the back end.
Up with nothing.
Yeah, and we're limiting it together. It is always an option for the Parliament to have mandatory sentences.
But why
or minimum
not do it?
sentences.
Why haven't you done that?
Well, we haven't done that yet because we think.
But do
what
you
we're
trust
doing
the judiciary will pass these changes on as you intend?
That's our expectation. Yes.
What if they don't?
Well, then we've got other options up our sleeve, as I
Like
say.
mandatory?
Well, yes, but look, I think the basic idea that we have in New Zealand, set a maximum sentence, and we're going to lift it a year for the coward's punch, which was, an unprovoked attack with no warning to the head or to the neck, which, can...
Like all of those ones like we said last night, all those attacks you get warnings for. Because I know when I'm going out drinking on a Friday night and looking to get drunk and pissed in town and throw a punch, Chewie, what I normally do is I send a text message to the person the day before going, at 2 a.m. on Saturday morning in the Octagon, I will be punching you in the face. Notice has been given. No coward's punch here. That's what I do.
Yeah, you've
I
got
don't
to
know what you
allow
guys
3 to
do.
5 working days. That's why sometimes I skip the trip to the pub.
Yep, there you go.
can change the life of a person or end the life of a person, but can turn a whole family upside down. We want to send a clearer message. We don't accept that. We don't tolerate it. And you're going to have a tougher consequence as a result.
Hey, you're